have you pull out and I'll have you make the left. Actually, you know what? I'll meet you up by the restroom, but I'm gonna call off our numbers, so you're gonna be 1, so I'll have you when I point you, I'll have you. You got a nickname? Think of something real quick. Okay.
I almost forgot. Hope everybody came up with a good nickname. I'm gonna number you guys for now. So at least you remember your numbers. Your numbers are gonna stay the same throughout the day. Come up with a good nickname as I point at you as you drive by. I'll have you call out your number. Again, it's just a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not your actual number on your window, but it's your number in line. And then as you go by, I'll point it out to you. You can confirm with me that your radio is working by calling out your number and giving me your nickname.
All right. Nickname. I'll do Zoom Zoom, I guess.
What was it?
Zoom Zoom, like Miatas.
Zoom Zoom,
like
okay.
Mazda.
Cool, so you're Bronco 1. I'll have you pull to the right around the restrooms and hang out right there.
And Bruno.
Alright, Bruno. Hey, Zoom Zoom, hang a right where you're at, and pull up about 30 feet, please, and then just stop right there. And you guys, as you pull up behind Zoom Zoom and Bruno, you can get in real tight. Zoom Zoom, pull up about, again, another 30 feet up there. We're going to try to get everybody out of here and tightened up.
Yeah, well, Bronco 3 and Littlefoot.
Got it, Littlefoot.
Bronco 4, and I think this has to be Sapphire.
The color, not the club, right? There's the Vegas thing.
Number 5, Dorothy.
Copy that.
Number 6, The Martian.
All right. And my tail gunners.
7, Lucky.
Copy that. That is everybody. All right, everybody. Remember your numbers. Remember what the Bronco in front of you and behind you looks like, at least the color. For everybody beyond my lead Bronco, actually for my lead Bronco back, I'm going to want you to remember to look in your rearview mirror throughout the day today and just kind of keep track to make sure that as we pass forks in the road, clear forks in the road and intersections, that we make sure we wait for that Bronco behind us. We call.
We call these our convoy procedures. So the key is here, if we're just driving on a trail where there's no intersections or forks in the road or anything like that, you don't have to maintain an eye on the person behind you. But when you do come up to a fork in the road, what I want you to do is stop until you see that Bronco behind you and hold that intersection until they get there, and then once they get there you can get rolling again, and then it's up to them to stop and wait for the Bronco behind them. It's kind of like a little breadcrumb type of thing, so we don't lose our Bronco buddies. If we get lost out here today, we get separated, it could take a lot of time and kind of take away from that extra driving time that we have. So make sure you do that. We don't have to worry about running into any other off-roaders out here today. I'll have you start rolling. We are on a closed property, closed area. This is all private property. So we are closed in here. You might see Johnny, our lead trail guide, running around doing some maintenance today. And you'll see Charlie, our house photographer, will be paralleling us here and there. But outside of that, it's just going to be us. I'll just go up here and kind of curve around. So it doesn't matter right now if you're in drive. Drive is probably the best gear to be in right now. We don't have to be in 4 low. anytime we're on these kind of access roads that take us to our smaller, more intricate trails, we can be in drive. Again, we can go up to 40 miles an hour in 4 low while we're in drive, so it's not a big deal. Now, like I mentioned earlier, when we do get to the trailhead for some of the smaller trails that we'll drop into, I will let you know when we get there, and then I will usually remind you to drop into 4 low if you're not already, or manual first gear. So you don't have to go super slow through here. This is we can go much faster through here, and this is just a regular road. I know it seems a little iffy, but except for that rock right there, I don't know where that came from. So we're gonna go straight up on this, follow these power lines right here. And once we get everybody in here, I'll have you kind of slow down up there, and then tail gunner, sorry, Bronco 7. Let me know when you guys are into this trail where the pole lines are. Once I get everybody in here, we're going to come to a stop. So once you guys are in, I'll have everybody stop. Just let me know. I had a Miata. I have friends that still make fun of me for that.
Oh, yeah.
Slow down just a little bit because I want to get everybody in here, and I don't.
Yeah, I have a.
Copy that. Everybody, let's go ahead and stop right where we're at. Now, here's the point where I want to start getting that spacing. This is a kind of a shorter trail. When we get to the top of this, we're going to make a U-turn to the right, and then we'll go back down. But let's start thinking about our spacing here, okay? Because I'm going to start demonstrating some features. Go ahead and shift to manual first gear if you haven't already. So when you click down to that M on your thumb selector switch, make sure you click it down to 1 because it automatically defaults to second gear. I think engineers pretty much figured that most of the time we're going to be in snow or slick, like icy areas, so that's why it would default to 2. But again, for our off-roading purposes today, a lot of times we're going to be in manual first gear. Is anybody not in 4 low yet? Actually, I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to get everybody in 4 low because I can see right now that in our lead Bronco, we are in 4 high. So, if you are not in 4 low already, I'll direct your attention down to your GOAT mode dial. If you look at the, it says 2H, 4H, 4A, and 4L. The light should be illuminated next to whatever gear mode you're in. So, if you're not in 4L, go ahead and shift to neutral right now. Once you're in neutral, foot on the brake, press that 4L button. Go ahead and take a look at your dashboard. It should say 4x4 shift in progress. It tells you that your advanced track is off, your traction control is off, and that you are now in 4 low. Anybody have an issue with that?
Bruno, it's telling us we need to roll forward after switching to 4 low. It's still blinking in progress, it says.
Alright, so that's what I was referring to when we were in the Bronco Pavilion. The Bronco will tell you exactly what it wants you to do if there's an issue. That is one of the things that it will do once in a while, just because it wants those gears to mesh up to go ahead and get into 4L. So if you have the room in front of you, that's why we need that space in between one another. Just go ahead and put it back into drive and pull forward just maybe a little bit and watch your dashboard. It'll tell you when it's good to go. And once it does that, you can stop, shift back to neutral, and it will shift into 4 low for you.
All is good.
Perfect. Glad we got that out of the way right out of the chute. Usually it takes until the afternoon for that to happen. So again, there's no issue with it. There's nothing wrong with the vehicle. It's just the way the system is designed, and it's just asking you to pull forward to synchronize those gears a little bit to get those gears lined up so it can shift into 4 low. All right, so let's all go back to manual first gear again. And if you're in Badlands and you have that sway bar disconnect, go ahead and press that very first button on your hero switches. Those are the ones right below your rearview mirror on your dashboard. You should hear a chime. It tells you your stay bar disconnected and that the stay bar reconnects over 20 miles per hour. But again, if you have that feature, we're going to pretty much have that disconnected all day long out here on the trail. So when you jump back in your car, in your Bronco, you can disconnect that. You can, like I said, pretty much have that button illuminated all day long. Alright, so now we are in 4-low manual 1. We're ready to hit the trail, we're good to go, we're ready to tackle the day. The first feature I want to demonstrate for you is called Trail One Pedal Drive. Now if you remember, I talked about that Bronco button, that button right in the center of your goat mode dial. So press that one time and look on your dashboard. It says Trail One Pedal Drive is active. This Trail One Pedal Drive, you may ask. Well, if any of us engage in left foot braking, maybe out on the track, or if you used to off-road back in the day and you use that, this essentially simulates left foot braking. So we all have our feet on the brake right now. We all have our foot on the brake right now. If we were to take our foot off the brake, or when we do that, our Bronco will hold its position. Okay, our Bronco is by default going to hold the brake. And what we would have to do is we'd have to apply throttle to overcome the brake. And it will do that as long as we are in this mode. So again, what it mimics is us having our left foot on the brake and applying brake while we apply throttle at the same time to overcome the brake resistance. And what this does is it just allows us to smoothly crawl over rocks and terrain sometimes. Whereas if we were switching from our foot on the throttle to the brake and back and forth, we might not be quick enough to really do it smoothly. And if we come off the throttle and jump on the brake too hard in a rock crawling scenario, well, then we start throwing that weight around, we start bouncing our front end up and down, and it makes us look really bad out on the trail. Whereas the Bronco will make us look really cool with one pedal drive. Anybody not in one pedal drive? Anybody not have the green? Look up on your dashboard, you'll have that green foot on an accelerator. That'll let you know that you're a one pedal drive. Anybody not have that? Perfect. Alright, so let's all take our foot off the brake and start to apply just a little bit of throttle. Keep that spacing in between you and the Bronco in front of you, and just kind of find that point of that feather point, nice comfortable area of how much throttle you want to apply, and get used to it. And you can see as you come off the throttle a little bit, it's going to start to brake. And if you jump all the way off the brake, it's going to pretty much abruptly stop. Now, the slower you're going, the more abrupt the braking will be. And if you're carrying a little bit of speed, it's going to be a more gradual stop. But let's keep the speeds nice and low. Just kind of try to find that feather point to where you're comfortable. Because as we start to crawl up this trail, we'll get into some ruts.
My license plate is Zoom Zoom.
Oh yeah.
Z-U-M-X-Z.
Nice. Nice. So this is one of those features where, again, you probably ask, well, Matt, where would I want to use this? Definitely, anytime you're doing some rock crawling, I would say uphill, because if you're going downhill, this feature tends to dip that front end up and down if you're not really good with it. Just like anything with practice, it gets better. But this feature is best used rock crawling uphill, or just in an uphill rutted out area where you're trying to keep your traction, you're trying to keep that momentum going. he is.
Oh yeah, okay. Spot for it.
Charlie's up here hiding in the bushes, you guys. Make sure you give him a nice little wave.
Charlie.
So just nice and slow through here. Just practice slow it down just a little bit more, because as we get up into the more the rockier stuff, it's definitely going to be slower than this. So it's going to be like 1 mile per hour and below. So I'm going to ask that you guys just keep trail one pedal drive on until we get to the top of this trail, because it's going to lead us into the next feature that I'm going to demonstrate. Get nice and slow through here, so this is where you can kind of feather it, get a feel for it. So you're going to make a hard right turn right here. Yep. Alright, you're good. You can keep going. They see this. At the top of the trail, we're going to make a hard right turn, a U-turn almost, into our next trail.
The one pedal is still on.
Yeah, I'll have you leave it on. We're going to keep that one pedal drive on until our tail is out of the trail. Go ahead and hold up right here. You can just come to a stop. Yeah. I'll have you guys keep probably about just a little more than one Bronco distance in between us, so I can get everybody on this trail as we stack up and then come to a stop.
Bronco 2, I have a question about the automatic on-off engine.
Yes.
Should it be on or off? Because I've read things that say when you're off-roading, shut it off so you don't turn the engine off.
I've never been in a Bronco out here where it's actually come into play, and I wasn't sure that it actually did that off-road. So is yours shutting off?
Yeah, it just did it when I stopped that right back there a second ago.
Yeah, just go ahead and press the defeat button right in the center, in between your radio controls up top.
The Avenger button.
Yes. You guys need room back there to get on this trail once you make the U-turn, or is everybody in?
We're just making the turn.
Awesome. Alright, so if you're not stopped already, everybody go ahead and stop right where you're at. Now, actually put your foot on the brake, okay? Even though we're in one pedal drive, we know that the Bronco is going to hold us at a stop, at a standstill. Go ahead and put your foot on the brake. And then I want to direct your attention to the left-hand side steering wheel spoke. You'll see your cruise control buttons. Now, the next feature that we're going to demonstrate here is trail control. So, the way that we get into trail control is we have to be in one pedal drive, which we already are. And we need to press our Set Plus button on that left-hand side of your steering wheel spoke. So press it one time, and you'll feel the vehicle kind of lurch a little bit, and then you'll see that the icon changed on the dashboard. That foot that we had that was green is now gray, and we have another green symbol illuminated, which is a picture of a Bronco driving over some terrain with a number 1 next to it. that lets us know that trail control is now engaged and we are set at 1 mile per hour. So, that being said, before we start rolling, this is not a radar cruise control. This is not, you are still in control, okay? The only thing that the Bronco is going to do for you here is it's going to hold your throttle at 1 mile per hour. It's going to hold your speed at 1 mile per hour, just like normal cruise control. You still have to steer, you still have to brake. If you press the brake, it's not going to cancel out the trail control. Just so you know. So it's not like a normal cruise control. If you press the brake, it's going to set you back down to 1 mile per hour, or your original lowest speed possible, which is 1 mile per hour. And then as soon as you let off that brake, it'll start rolling again. So one by one, let's go ahead and take our foot off the brake and let the Bronco start rolling at 1 mile per hour. If you need to create some distance between you and the Bronco in front of you, you can kind of stagger a little bit. Now you might hear some brake squealing, some squeaking. The Bronco's just kind of crawling over the terrain here. And we can go all the way up to 10 miles per hour in 4 low here in our trail control. So you can see it has a couple different purposes. We'll use it later going up to our overlook, where it's just kind of a nice, it's not any kind of really intricate technical trail, but it's a good, decent incline, and we're just rolling over a lot of rocks where we don't have to go super slow, but it's a great spot to use that, to where we're just going to carry our speed and kind of take some of the fatigue out of our day. But if we wanted to use it in an area where there are a lot of rocks and we're really trying to crawl over super slow and we want to control our speed, we can do that at 1 mile per hour. Now let's go ahead and everybody kick it up to 4 miles per hour. If you notice, it goes in half mile per hour increments. If we were in 4 high, it would actually go at 1 mile per hour increments. And believe it or not, we can actually use this feature in reverse. You first. I'm not going to do it. So, again, up to 10 miles per hour here in 4 low. If I were to slow down, if I'm in the driver's seat right now and I were to just slow down just a little bit but not come to a complete stop, maybe a lizard ran across the road or something, or a jackrabbit, and I came off that brake, what the Bronco would do is it would automatically reset itself to whatever speed you slowed down to. So if you wanted to increase the speed again, you'd have to manually do that by the set plus button on the left-hand side of your steering wheel. All right, everybody go ahead and come to a stop. If everybody is at a complete stop, take a look at your instrument cluster. You see that that green icon is now set back to 1 mile per hour. Take your foot off the brake. And again, like I said before, the Bronco has just reset itself back to 1 mile per hour. Again, it did not cancel that feature out. And the way that what you need to do to cancel out the feature is to press the center button on your goat mode dial, which you don't need to use just yet. But that would be how we would get out of one pedal drive or trail control. So let's set them back up to, let's go back up to 5 miles per hour. Notice that because we're in manual first gear that the engine's revving. There's nothing wrong with that. But if we were to go much faster than this, I would probably just shift into drive, or you could manually shift up to second gear if you needed to, but we're still good in manual first gear here.
Roger.
Hey, we're still at 12:30 for lunch.
We're looking at 12 o'clock.
Copy that.
Order lunch.
I think that's about enough of trail control for right now. Just as we're rolling, just be prepared to take over the controls and press that center button on your goat mode dial. And your dashboard told you the trail control is now off, so now you are in charge of that throttle.
So everything's off, like the one
Yep.
pedal is off
Yep.
too.
Yes, trail control is off, one pedal drive is off. We're just back in the mode that we started, and we're still in 4 low. Our transmission and transfer case is still in the, what we started with. But we're not using any technology right now.
Just the manual.
Exactly.
Gear, engine brake.
So I'll have everybody shift up to drive, just click it up. 1 slot to drive. And we're still gonna, we're not gonna drive really quick through this area, but it's fairly flat, so we really don't need 4 low through here. I'm sorry, we don't need manual 1. Sorry, we're still in 4 low. We're gonna stay in drive.
Thanks.
I saw you looking at us like, oh, what did I say wrong? So at the red gate right there, as soon as we get through that, we're gonna hang a right.
Make it right. How does like the half day work? Like for tomorrow, it's half day, right? That's
Yeah,
much
it's
shorter, like compressed.
yeah, there's just there's no,
I was almost
there's
gonna
no
do
break in the
Sunday.
middle.
Oh,
There's no break in the middle.
Oh, just like
And yeah, it's a few hours cut out.
no lunch or
It's kind of like start and we integrate while everybody eats sandwiches while I'm talking about
you're right.
things up there.
so this way.
And as soon as we get through this red gate at the bottom, we're going to hang a right. Once we make that right turn past the red gate, we're just going to stay on our main access road here that everybody came in on when we came up this morning. And we're going to make a left into the parking lot where you parked. It was great having you guys. Thanks for coming. Just kidding. So just remember, if you can see the Bronco behind you, hopefully they waited for the Bronco behind them, and hopefully somebody's holding the intersection waiting for that very, very last Bronco. You're good, they can see you.
I can't see them, but yeah, they're there.
We'll hang a left right here. We're going to stay to the left-hand side of the parking lot and go all the way down to the bottom of it. So once we make the left into our parking lot,
Left here.
we're going to stay to the left-hand side of the parking lot. We'll keep the speeds down a little bit just to not dust each other's vehicles out here. You can pull up, right? We're going straight ahead.
Use a zero turn right here in the parking lot?
I don't know what zero turn is, but no, you cannot use it.
Oh, create a dust bowl.
If you mean trail turn assist, no, you cannot use that either in the parking lot.
That's what I meant, sorry.
That's all right. All right, you can pick up the speed a little bit here. All right, so as we file down past the parking lot, once you drop into this next little trail here, just keep it in drive. We'll pick up the speeds a little bit. Go ahead, pick up the speed a little bit. So you can go 15 through here and I'll guide you through. When you guys see Charlie with the camera off to your first fork of the road, you're gonna stay to the left. But let's pick up the speeds a little bit. I want to see 15 to 20 miles per hour through here. Just make sure you keep some spacing. The idea is for you to see how the Bronco handles the road at a little bit higher speed, not just rock crawling, okay? Again, I'm going to try to get you down here again later in the day, and we'll pick up the speeds a little more. So consider this kind of your test run. Scouting of the trail. As you come to the bottom, you know you're going to want to slow down. You'll see our pond off to the right. We have a family of jackrabbits that likes to hang out right around here, so I like to slow down around the pond. Not quite like Lake Mead, but the water level is dropping. We're going to go left right here, and then you're going to hang a right. So back to manual 1. Stop.
Right here.
Yep. It's okay. Go for it. You're gonna hang right. Alright, we'll try to practice that 2-hand feed, alright? Try not to cross over. So back before we drop into this trail, right outside of the pond here, we're going to drop back into manual first gear. And you might feel the engine revving a little bit through here in these flat areas, but I promise it's going to get a little bit rockier. But just like you would in your normal vehicle, your commuter car, you know, with paddle shifters or whatever, if you want to shift to second gear, feel free to do so. As long as when we get into the slow areas, you're in manual first gear, you're good to go. I might beat that to a pulp today and repeat that quite a bit, but if I see that everybody's, when we're out on the trail and I'm out at your window, if I kind of see that everybody's in manual first gear and not in drive coming through these trails, then I'll stop talking about it, I promise. As you can see, we're using a lot of old washes here. So when it rained pretty heavy last week, we did have some water coming through here. So that's what that's all about. Hopefully we don't get any monsoons today.
Felt good though.
Yeah,
a little bit
yeah.
drizzle.
Yeah, most of our trails out here at the camp are old washes that we've kind of modified. Maybe cut some trees down, trim some tree limbs. And then maybe, I think in a few areas we've moved some rocks around to make it a little more fun, a little more challenging for our guests.
Was it like a camp before?
Yeah, it was a Boy Scout camp. It was a Boy Scout camp,
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So a lot of the structures were already here. We built the pavilion. I think we built some of the like picnic area looking things. So, if you're not already used to it, here's the time to start getting used to driving over rocks. Really going to be outside of our approach angle here. We're going to have plenty of clearance here. So, see that big rock on the left? I'm going to put your driver's side tire on that, okay?
Okay, driver's side.
Yep.
Like I rise up with that little one, right? Maybe?
Or driver's side, just worry about your driver's side tire. So nice and slow, line up with it, use your trail sight. Nice and slow, nice and slow, nice and slow. So if you feel it, start to come up.
Yeah, that's the little one.
Yeah, you got the little one in between. There you go. Now start to nice and slow, nice and slow.
They just go down on it? Or?
Yeah, that's nice and slow. There you go.
The rear one will fall.
It's okay. That's that trailing arm mount.
Should I have could I have avoided that or?
Sure, yeah, but
Okay.
why? We're out here to have fun, right?
Yeah, I'm just like I'm glad you're here with me.
Here, I'll say drive around to the left, because this gets really you can bottom out right there, right here.
Yeah, it's like
What's that? No, go ahead.
there was no way like for me to avoid that because other than like staying off of it, right? Yeah.
So we'll start to see some areas where we might be able to drive over a rock, like Zoom and Bronco 1 did, in order to not widen our trail. And we did that without an issue. We had a little bit of contact with that rear low-lying trailing arm mount, but it wasn't a big deal. Now, for those of you that have a person in your passenger seat, your co-pilot for the day, let's start to think about talking to each other, okay? Let's get that window down. Let's get that passenger window down as the trail gets tighter and we start to see big rocks on each side. Because our driver, they know how much room they have on their driver's side, but they may be guessing, they're likely guessing how much room they have on their passenger side. So, passenger, you can help them out by letting them know, hey, you have 1 foot. Oh, way to go, Zoom. He Bronco bumped right while I was talking on the radio in front of you guys. Good job.
While you're on the radio,
he's crossing over like a madman here on this steering wheel. I keep telling him that 2-hand feed, shuffle steering. It's just not helping. Anyway, if your passengers are talking to our drivers and passengers, you're telling your driver, hey, you have 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet. That way they know, because again, we want to use our whole trail here. Okay, if we have if we have about 4 feet on our passenger side, and we're all the way over 1 foot away or less than a foot away on our driver's side of some big rock, well, that's how we see most of our damage done out here. It's just not using a whole trail and passengers not talking to drivers out here. I like the new look. Really? Well, plus you're normally wearing a hat too. It's nice to see you, man. It's been a while.
So the right side, the passenger side, that's the gas tank, right? There's like a big cover.
No, it's on the driver. Oh, you mean where it's at? Yeah.
Yep. Like the cover. That's
yeah, but yeah, exactly. There were skid plates on it. So.
Yeah.
So, like I mentioned about using the entire trail and looking at lines, picking lines, thinking about where we're going to go. Just try to avoid widening that trail. Try to get in the mindset of asking yourself if there's some rocks in front of you, if you think you can drive over them, well, why not? And if you're not sure and you want to drive over them, well, then maybe kick your passenger out and have them spot you through. Or you can get out yourself and just at least check the clearance, see if you have that, make sure your brake or your approach angle is going to be good. And so on and so forth. You guys get the idea. Well, it's about getting used to your Bronco. In the front Bronco here, we have a winch, so we have more weight on the front end. And you have about a foot over here, less than a foot, so use your space over there. When you're loaded up with the family and maybe a cooler, a Yeti full of drinks and things like that, your weight's going to increase, and your Bronco may react a little bit different out on the trail. So just some things to think of. I'll have you stop right here. Yeah. Yeah, just a little intro, and get your feet wet.
Get us
and
warmed
then,
up,
get everybody comfortable, and then, and then it's lunchtime. So now that everybody's gotten comfortable, we're gonna head out to lunch here. Like I said, get you all carb loaded so we can take a nap. Want to take a nap after lunch. Well, we're gonna have about a 30, maybe 40-minute lunch break, and I think the Mercantile is gonna be open, the gift shop. And then we'll get back out on the trails and learn some more valuable information. Pull straight. Oh, you shifted
No,
it
manual.
too?
It was in a manual.
Okay, I'll have you hold right here. So when we come out of this trail, we're kind of going up and out across our main road. I'll have you start rolling forward whenever you're ready. No, go ahead. If you want to take a picture,
No, I
feel
want to
free.
take them. Like,
Go ahead, please do.
Make it true.
How are we doing in the back?
Lucky number 7's doing well.
Excellent. So I'll have you stay to the left.
Yeah, the Raptor wouldn't make it through here, probably.
I don't know. Yeah, that Raptor is way capable.
Yeah,
so, I mean, I haven't, you know,
And they
been in
say
the
it's
seat.
too wide, but
Yeah,
and
That's the
the,
only
the
thing.
guides don't help, I guess.
but no.
because
But
they're
if you
like-
see the suspension travel on that thing, I mean, the
Yeah.
articulation, it's just like. But yeah, for narrower trails.
Narrow.
Yeah, definitely thinking about that.
Right here.
Nice and slow. Nice and slow. So remember, no reason to widen the trail, and you have plenty of room here. Don't be afraid of the ruts. If you're thinking ahead through here, because of this rocky terrain, like you get a little bit of slippage right there, might be a spot where you would engage your rear locker proactively, but you're fine. You're still doing good. So as we come through here, you might find an area where you may want to proactively engage your rear locker. Hang a left, hard left, hard left.
Oh,
Yep,
go in there? Oh, okay,
Yep,
okay.
yep,
Sorry.
right here. That's okay.
Back up, maybe.
Sure. Right. Actually, we'll go straight. And go ahead and stop right here.
The hood is almost like a Miata with the pump.
Oh,
Miatas
yeah.
have that
What year
tiny
is your
one.
Miata?
96.
What year was mine? I had a 99.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. That car was
NB,
awesome.
like a second
Yeah.
generation. Yeah, those
Manual
are just-
transmission.
Yeah, yeah.
And that thing was a blast. And I bought it
Yeah.
to save money, but I'd always
Yeah.
wanted a Miata, you know.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll pull up
Yeah,
here a
I
little
can't
bit.
get rid of it actually.
No, I mean, for what
Everybody
it's
wants
worth,
to
you know,
sell
what
it.
the cost?
Tell me to sell it, but yeah.
For the cost?
Yeah.
It's just, hang on, let me see how I need to set up for, hold right here?
The
Go ahead, stop right here. Yeah, let me see how I need to set up for afternoon. So we're gonna go Ricky to, yeah, I'll have you come off to the left here. We'll just park, hug the left side. And I think we should be able to get everybody in a straight line. Hey Hunter, we're rolling in.
So go by the pole maybe? Or?
Yeah, and then we'll kind of,
Go ahead and repeat your last.
I just said we're rolling in right now, parking.
Copy that.
There's good.
A little bit more. We'll go right up to that concrete and just try to get everybody in here. Perfect. Perfect. All right, so as we come to a stop here, let's get up close to each other so we can try to fit everybody in this little area where we're parking.
Still on one, still on one.
Oh, thank you. Hey guys, let's try to get up in close to each other here because we're going to park and then we're going to walk up to the pavilion. Definitely leave a few feet at least in between you and the Bronco in front of you. But when you come to a stop, again, go ahead and shift to neutral. Engage that parking brake on your left-hand side, right by your left knee, and that's going to be pulling it to engage it. Confirm on your dashboard that the parking brake light is on. If that is on, it's a slight incline, I don't know. So once we get through this gate here, you get through those ruts, again, it's about 150 feet to the gate up ahead. You guys should see Bronco 1 starting to head up that hill. We're all going to be in line for a little while here, heading up this hill, about halfway up to the peak. Let's go ahead and shift into manual first gear once you get through that gate.
Try it.
Yep. There you go. So it's going to progressively get rockier on this road up the mountain. And once Lucky 7 is through the gate, let me know. You can keep going. Yeah, I can't see anything back there, so I'll just...
Do you want the mirror towards you?
Oh, no, that's fine. Thanks for the offer, though.
That would help, probably.
Ah, it's alright. I just rely on you. You guys through that gate yet, Bronco 7?
Just passing through right now.
All right. We've got some slowpokes in the group here in the middle. I'll have you stop right here. All right, everybody go ahead and just come to a stop right where you're at. Now, with your foot on the brake, go ahead and shift to neutral. And the reason I'm asking you to shift to neutral is because we're going to play with the goat modes a little bit here. Now, once you're in neutral, go ahead and rotate that goat mode dial. If you're in a Badlands, you'll rotate to rock crawl. I think the wild track might have rock crawl. Everybody else is going to need to go to mud and ruts. So make sure you're looking at your instrument cluster. Do me a favor, just stop at mud and ruts. Go back to mud and ruts for a second. And make sure it doesn't put us in 4 high. Yeah. So if you were going to rock crawl mode, it's going to keep us in 4L. If you went to mud and ruts, it shifted you to 4 high. What I want you to do though is press the 4L button to shift you back to 4 low. You can go over to rock crawl. But if you take a look at your hero switches up on top of the dashboard, you notice that the rear locker is now turned on, so your rear axle is locked. And if you had a stay bar disconnect, it disconnected your stay bar. If everybody's doing well so far and we're not having any issues, go ahead and shift back to manual and then first gear. So if you click back to drive, it's going to stop right there. You'll have to click it again, release it, click it again, and go back to manual. And with that thumb select your switch, go down to first gear. Anybody having any issues? Excellent. All right, let's start rolling again. So, what does the goat mode do for us that we can't do ourselves in manually? Well, that's why I was teaching everybody this morning. That's why I was teaching you guys this morning, like what to do, what systems to use, how to use them, what they're good for, when to use them. Because when we rotate that goat mode dial, the Bronco is going to kind of think for you, and it's just going to automatically put you in a certain transfer case mode. So 4 high or 4 low. Remember, start picking a line here, okay?
Yeah.
Start looking ahead and planning. It's also going to maybe engage again a rear locker. It might disconnect your stay bar. But the main thing that it's going to do that we can't do ourselves manually is it's going to adjust the throttle mapping. And when I say adjust the throttle mapping, is, what I mean is it's going to be like if anybody's ever driven a car in sport mode, you know that the accelerator feels peppier. You might have a lot more throttle response when you put it in sport mode. It feels a little bit faster. Well, with the Bronco, it could do that if you're in Baja mode or in sport mode. But when we're in rock crawl mode or mud and ruts, what it's going to do is it's going to dial back that throttle response. So it's going to make it a little bit easier for us to crawl up these rocks nice and slow. In addition to engaging all those systems that we've talked about, that we've already used this morning. It also might adjust your steering response a little bit, since it's all electronic now, so you might feel a little bit of a difference in the steering wheel. So one of the things you can do now this afternoon, since I've introduced Trail 1-pedal drive and trail control, I'll leave it up to you if you want to use that. Going up this hill here, Trail 1-pedal drive or trail control would be awesome to use. I personally like trail control up this hill. I would set it about 1.5, maybe 2 miles per hour. Now, one thing about trail control you can also do is you can add your own throttle input if you want it to go a little bit faster in certain areas. And then as soon as you let off that throttle, it's going to drop right back down to what you set it at. Now, if I have any new drivers with me here, Trail 1-pedal drive, which is the system that mimics left foot braking, that's going to be the center button on your goat mode dial. You just press that one time, and that's the one where when you come off the brake, it's going to hold the vehicle for you, and you have to throttle in order to overcome the brake. And then trail control is accessible once you're already in 1-pedal drive by pressing the set plus button on your cruise control button on your the left side of your steering wheel spoke. You're doing fine. That area where the Sasquatch sign is the only real kind of technical area where if you get stuck. We got our lockers on, which is good. You picked a great line. Some people tend to go to the right quite a bit, and they get stuck. So I have to back them up and then go again. So if you haven't already been through the area where the Sasquatch crossing is, just make sure you're looking ahead and choosing a line there.
Yeah. Is that okay?
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, I'm just curious.
1.5.
Yeah, no, you're good. I'm just curious. Yeah, so it'll kind of, when it comes to areas like this, it might kind of hesitate, might kind of slow down and stop and then think about it and then pull you up.
So it basically like calculates traction on all wheels and like see what he wants to do. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's almost too easy.
Yeah, I know,
It's neat stuff.
Yeah.
So a lot of this is going to force, you know, some of the other brands to really start upping their technical game.
Yeah, definitely.
The only thing that's really kind of weird is, and we'll go into it next, that's hill descent control. So that's the one thing we haven't used yet.
Should I like up the speed going up the hill?
Sure.
Or
It's up to you.
if I hit the gas, it will just
Yeah,
pick
you
up
can just
speed, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what I tend to normally do is I'll just accelerate in between those spots, and then when it slows down again, I'll just come off the gas and it resumes the trail control speed. You're fine. You can keep going. There's no fork in the road, so if the fork in the road is going to be up here, I'll have you go to the left, and it's just going to be a big U-turn.
So I'll just wait here.
Nope, just go to the left. It's just a big U-turn. They'll see us when we're facing. We're gonna U-turn and we're gonna end up right here facing down.
Oh, okay.
So once they see us, they'll figure it out.
Hit it here.
Yeah.
Filled with water.
Yeah. Filled with water.
Wheel.
Yeah, just pull all the way down so they don't get tempted to come in front of us here. Alright, when you guys get to the top, it's going to be a big U-turn. We'll just all get in kind of tight here and park. Remember your parking procedures.
Park?
Yeah, we're going to park, so shift to neutral. I'll go over here in a second when everybody's... Oh, no, hang on. Sorry, let's shut it. Yeah, that's how we got it. I'm going to shut that off for you. So now go into put on your parking brake. Shift back to neutral.
Yeah, I think it...
Shift back to neutral. It'll make sense in a minute. And now pull the parking brake. There you go. Let it rest. Foot off the brake.
Put off the brake.
Yep. There you go. Yep, now back in park. Perfect. Alright, so again, parking procedures as we get to the top. Once you come to a stop, shift to neutral. Apply that parking brake. Let the vehicle rest on the parking brake. Shift into park. And then we can shut them down. I'm going to point out a few little interesting points of interest over here. Some good photo opportunities. It's a little bit cooler. Back to the warm weather.
It's asking return to rock crawl.
You could say yes, it's totally up to you. I'm actually going to put that info out here. So your Bronco's asking you if you want to return to that goat mode that you were in. If you wait too long to answer, it's just going to default back to no. But you're more than welcome to. want to be back in mud and ruts or back in rock crawl mode, that is fine. Pretty much down this hill, we're just going to be using 4 low manual first gear though. This is where we're going to use that engine brake to slow us down. And then I will demonstrate hill descent control here in a little bit. Manual first gear. But yeah, whenever you're ready, you can start. So manual first gear, and we'll start rolling. How many stickers do you have?
I think 4.
Wow, look at you. Teacher's pet, huh? Riding with the instructor.
Yeah.
Some people, it's so funny, they'll hide their stickers and be like, oh, I don't have any.
Oh my God.
It's like, technically it's supposed to be like 3 per owner, and it's like, you know, then sometimes, you know, if there's more kids, then we'll give them to kids, you know. It's so funny how everybody gets really, like, some owners get really possessive about the stickers.
Hiding them.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It is funny. It's like little kids. Ah, we're all just big kids out here in Bronco playground. It's good times. So if you haven't experienced it yet, as we come down this first drop in your first gear, and you'll feel that engine rev quite a bit, and it'll slow you down quite a bit. So if you haven't experienced that, or you want to get a feel for what manual first gear and 4 low feels like, just let the Bronco slow you down that first hill. Don't touch your brakes, but I always say cover your brakes, so hover your foot over it just in case. But the engine will slow you down enough. Yeah, go ahead and disconnect that. And we don't need our lockers on. I'm going to put that here in a second too, because we're going downhill. There's no need to have your rear lockers on. So you returned to go mode though, right?
No, I didn't.
You didn't? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and shut it off. There you go.
And the sway bar, would it, like, let's say I'm going like 20 miles on a rough terrain, would it still like connect
It would still reconnect, yeah, because it's purely by speed.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't take anything else into account. It's purely its speed. So I'll have you slow down quite a bit. Okay, so just kind of crawl through here. I'm going to give everybody else a chance to catch up, because what I want you to practice is controlling that front end and not jabbing that brake. Okay. See how when I first said slow down, you were like, you jabbed that brake. Yeah. So just try to ease on that brake. You can always also use trail control through here if you wanted to. But when we get to the next little section up there, I'm kind of letting everybody catch up. Like I said, I'm going to put us all in hill descent control. And that's what you went into when I said, hey, put on the parking brake when we get to the top. Because we were still in trail control, you pulled that parking brake. That's how we get into hill descent control.
Oh.
So just so you know, that's what was going on back there. Go ahead and stop right where you're at, and hopefully you remember. I can walk you through it if you need it, but let's go ahead and get into trail control. So again, that's our trail cruise control. It was that second feature that we accessed through the Bronco button. We've accessed trail control, and we're in trail control, and you're set at 1 mile per hour. You should have that green Bronco driving over some terrain with a speedometer behind it and the number 1 next to it up on your instrument cluster. Anybody having an issue with that? Alright, let's just all stay set at 1 mile per hour, and let's start rolling. Now I know you have to know how to do it, so I'm going to stop you. Stop. Pull your parking brake. Turn your parking brake off now. Try it again. There you go. Yep, there you go. Now just foot off the brake, and you're in hill descent control right now. Alright, so for Bronco 2, Bronco 1 is now in hill descent control. And how we did that, and as you get to left turn, sir. Thanks for waiting. I had to check in with everybody.
Make sure that they're good.
Yeah, everybody's doing fine. It's just that some people are hesitant to, ask questions on the radio or in front of a group. So
I got to be lucky that you're here with me.
Yeah, but you're doing fine.
Day.
You're doing fine. You could get through all this without me. So you're in drive. Yeah, I was gonna say if you're in drive, you're
manual.
Cool. No, you're good. You're good. Do you want the cup holder? Here, take this.
No,
take this. Yeah, take the cup holder. It's fine.
Drive is okay.
Yes, please. Yeah, be in drive. So let's get out of. Whoops. Let's click up to drive because we're just going to be on our access road here, and we're just going to kind of a short jaunt right over to our next trail. You can go a little faster. This isn't anything where we need to be going slow for. We don't need to be going super slow on this main road here. Yeah, the air-cooled the newer one, and it's, that was I had to tell my wife that's an investment.
Yeah.
I joke about it with her, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's a place to park some money.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I enjoy driving it.
Yeah, a friend of mine bought like 84 or 85, and then he locked out, he paid $38,000 or something.
Really?
Beautiful, like a metallic blue color. I forgot what it's called. Probably maybe doubled up on him.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll see how when the market adjusts.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna hang a left at that tree stump right there. That log.
When did you buy yours?
A little over a year ago. Yes. Yeah, a little over a year ago, and it was actually from a friend of mine who his wife, her dad owned it since it was, I'm going to jump out right here. Okay. He owned it since '82.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and I got it for 30 grand.
Like a second owner.
30 grand, wow. It's got like 125,000 miles on it.
That's nothing
original
for
paint.
those cars.
No, it's original paint. It's all original. I mean, it's a great driver. I don't have to worry about it. I want to paint it, but that's opening a can of worms, so and then I don't want to drive it.
Yeah.
Alright, you guys, so where you see me standing, I want your passenger side front tire to go around this tree stump, and then you cut in, and I want your back passenger side tire to drive over that tree stump.
Perfect. Nice and slow. There you go. Start to come back towards your passenger side.
To this.
Come back passenger side.
What's that?
Come back passenger side. There you go. You got tunnel bit. No, not that far. Not that far. Just a little bit.
Okay. Still on this bank, right?
Whole trail.
Still on this bank.
Yep. You're good. Yeah, I just was trying to get you to use your own space there.
And as you pass me, you'll get a little three-wheel motion, so your back tire will get up in the air a little bit. We don't turn uphill, and if you get on that throttle, that's going to put you in a pinch. So easy on that throttle. When you get to the bottom, just go ahead and stop. You'll know because you'll run into that other kind of intersection. We're going to lean to the right and go to the bathrooms there, but I'll have you stop right at the intersection.
Okay, copy that.